Hi, have you been investing your hard-earned money without understanding how returns on your investments are calculated? Have you been hearing terms like CAGR, IRR, XIRR without really knowing what they are and how to apply them? Well, I am Hitesh Singla from Wealthinn, and I'm here to guide you about these terms and how to use them for calculating returns. So in this video, we'll discuss 4 methods along with their calculation and discuss pros and cons of each method. So stay tuned till the end of the video to learn about all these methods. So let's start our discussion with the first method to calculate return on your investment, which is a very basic calculation and very commonly used method, which is represented by the formula the FV minus IV divided by the IV into 100. So here the IV is the initial value of investment, which you start your investment with. The FV is the current value of the investment or the final value or the sale value at which you have sold your investment. So using this formula, you can calculate your return. So let's take an example to understand it, in a better manner. So suppose on a particular date, you bought 1 lakh rupee of XYZ mutual fund, and so this value of 1 lakh becomes your initial value, and a year after or so you want to see how much your investment has grown, and you check your fund value right now is 1,20,000. So this is the final value of the, in your case this would be the final value of your mutual fund. So we will apply this to your to the formula that we have, that is the FV, that would be 1,20,000 minus IV, that would be 1 lakh, which would be divided by 1 lakh, the initial value, into 100. That will become 20%. So that will give a result of 20%. So we come to know that in a year's time, this investment has grown by 20%. Now, what happens if this investment had taken 2 years? So if in 2 years this value would have become 1,20,000, or in 3 years time this value would have become 1,20,000, we would still get the same result of 20,000, even though our time has increased, which is a very big flaw, because we are not just getting the time value of money into this calculation, which is why a lot of people who are calculating returns use this formula, even if their returns, or if their returns have been made in 5 or 10 years, and they'll come and say that we have made so much of return on this investment, or we are typically double our returns on this investment. So we have to take, they have to consider another formula or another parameter, which is time, and so we use another formula, which is CAGR. The basic method of calculating of returns, where it did not take into account the time horizon or the time period of your investment if it goes beyond 1 year. So we use another method called compounded annual growth rate, that is the CAGR method. It's represented by the formula. The final value is divided by the initial value, and it's raised to the power 1 by n. The n here is the time horizon of your investment, minus 1, and it's multiplied by the 100. So you get your return calculation. So to understand this better, let's take an example. We'll extend the example we discussed in the last calculation. So now the time horizon for this investment is 2 years. We get 1,20,000 on 1 lakh after 2 years. So how what would be the return now? So we put this into our into calculation. That is 1,20,000 divided by the 1 lakh, which was the initial value, raised to the power 1 by 2, because 2 is the time horizon that we are using right now, minus 1, and into 100. So we use this calculation, and we get a result of 9.54%. So if our investment of 1 lakh rupees, if it became 1,20,000 in a year's time, the return was 20%. But if this investment goes beyond 1 year's horizon, that is 2 years, the return percentage is 9.54. So with time elapsing, the return percentage has decreased. What If we increase this further to 5 years horizon, then we'll get another return at this, that is 3.71%. So compounded annual growth rate gives us a better calculation, better way of finding out how much our return has been created on our investment. But there's another challenge. Most of the investment that we do typically do are not one-time investments. We make a lot of investments, kind of in a SIPs. Can CAGR be used? I don't think so. Cause the investments and the time horizon for each of the SIP is different. So there's another method that we have to learn, that is the IRR. So when we are calculating internal rate of returns, as discussed earlier, when the CAGR method fails in SAP kind of a situation where we are investing our money every month on a particular day. So let us understand this again with an example. So in this example, which you can see on your screen, we are investing every month a sum of money of 50,000, and which is invested till September. And in the month of October, I want to check how much money have my SIPs given. So if I use the CAGR formula, it will calculate that I have invested about 4,50,000, and it will subtract it from 7,000 and give me a return of 55.56%, which is a very vague answer, because the first investment that was done has been invested for a longer period as compared to the last investment that was done in September, which has gotten just 1 month of a time. So this method is not applicable or not fruitful for us. So we use this IRR method to run this calculation. You can use a Excel file, Microsoft Excel or Google Sheet, and you will type IRR, and it will ask you for the cash flow, and will represent all the investment that you have made in negative terms and the final value in a positive term, and you'll get a return of 9%. But there's another challenge that the IRR presents. What if I'll make investments at different points of time in the return? So we use this method, the final method, that is the XIRR. XIRR is nothing but the extended version of IRR, in which if any investment that a person was doing can be done, or he could have made a different kind of different sums could have been invested at different dates. So let's take an example again. So in this example, you can see that we started with a 50,000 a month of an SIP in January, which we continued in February, in March, and in April. And in April, suddenly we had a cash flow of another 5 lakh rupees coming in. So we invested that into our fund. Then again, we continued in May, June, July, August, September, and on 15th September we needed some money. So we took out some money out of this investment, that is 2 lakh rupees. Then we continued this with October, November, and December. And now we wanted to know how much in the year's time have we made from this investment. Have this investment be given us a positive return, or was it a failure? So if we go by the IRR formula, we'll get a return of just 1.09%. Which is again not the required result, because it has not taken into account, or if the money that was taken out, or any other kind of an investment. So we have to use the extended version. The extended version XIRR takes into account the cash flows and the date on which it was done. So when you do this, you get a return of 16.85%. So this is the best calculation tool that is available with us to calculate any kind of investment using this. So I hope with all the four methods, you are clear now that which method is to be used when. So let me recap. the basic calculation method is to be used if your investment horizon is in a lump sum form and it's the horizon of the investment is close to is still 1 year. If any investment that is in a lump sum form and your horizon increases beyond 1 year, then CAGR method is to be used, and it's the best method to be used in that case. If any investment which is in a SIP form and you are investing at regular intervals and there's no time change in your investment period, then the best form of a tool that you can use is IRR. But the extended version, which was the last tool that we learned, is the best tool to summarize to have your returns calculated. And it takes into account any day in which you might have invested or in which you might have taken out the money from your investment, and you could have studied how your fund or your investment had performed. So I hope this video was very helpful to you. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us through our email, through our website, and the phone numbers provided in the slides.